Warren Buffett's sitting on $334 billion of cash and cash equivalents. Does that mean he's getting ready for an economic collapse and a Great Depression? The evidence suggests it's for a different reason. Mind you, it's not Warren Buffett that owns all of this cash. It's actually his company, Berkshire Hathaway. And right now, that company is worth $718,750 per share. And he paid $26.8 billion in taxes in 2024 alone. And that $26.8 billion in taxes might be low compared to how high Buffett thinks taxes can go. He has been making it quite clear that higher taxes aren't inevitable, but they are likely as our debt keeps going higher. And this is when our debt was $34 trillion. It's $36 trillion now. This huge liquidation isn't just done by Warren Buffett. It's actually happening to a lot of investors across the board. They're expecting taxes to go up because they've been coddled for quite some time. In fact, the Oracle of Omaha has said that exact same thing. My friends and I have been coddled long enough. Instead of listening to billionaires from South Africa who were subsidized by our government, why not listen to the most successful investor of all time and say, hey, it's not reckless spending that's the problem. It's the fact that we aren't taxing our higher earners enough. But there is reckless spending that's a problem. We give about $30 to $50 billion every year in oil subsidies to our own companies, and we give about the same amount to agriculture. We shouldn't be subsidizing multi-billion-dollar corporations that should be able to make money on their own. We should be investing in the American people and, of course, infrastructure. Every year, our government collects about $4 to $4.5 trillion in tax revenue, but we are spending between $6 to $6.5 trillion. When your revenue is less than your spending, that means you are going through a budget deficit, and that's something that this country has struggled with for quite some time. In fact, the worst budget deficits that we've endured happened between 2018 to 2021. And this budget deficit wasn't because of the economic catastrophe. Just compare 2008, that Great Recession. The reason why we had this gigantic deficit and an increasing deficit is because of the tax cuts for the uber wealthy. You see, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed in 2017-2018 lowered the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%. And it was projected that these tax cuts were going to save the American economy and increase everybody's wealth and lower the deficit. Let's just look at our deficit chart again. All right, since those tax cuts, we have been incurring a massive one every single year, more than we ever have before those tax cuts were passed. And if you look at the growth of America's debt from, let's say, 2005 to right before those tax cuts, it was steep, but nowhere near as steep as it's been since 2017. And look at that, the GOP is trying to extend the debt ceiling again, even though they swore during the Biden administration that they couldn't ever let such a thing occur. Question is, are we going to keep raising the debt ceiling just to bail out the uber wealthy? Well, some of these uber wealthy don't think that's going to go on for much longer. Now, a huge chunk of these tax cuts are set to expire this year in 2025, while some business cuts will expire in 2028. I am the Geo Husar. I hope you found this informative. Thanks for watching.